Most people do not lose respect because they are weak. They lose it because other people can feel the constant negotiation happening underneath their behavior, the hesitation before speaking, the unnecessary explaining, the soft laugh after setting a boundary, the habit of checking faces after every opinion. People notice it more than you think, not consciously maybe, but emotionally. And once people sense that your self-worth depends on their approval, the dynamic quietly changes, because approval seeking creates an invisible imbalance. The more desperately someone wants to be accepted, the less emotionally solid they appear. And modern social life is brutally sensitive to emotional positioning, especially in workplaces, especially among adults, especially in environments where nobody says what they actually feel. A quiet employee walks into a meeting. He knows the answer. He understands the problem faster than everyone else. But before speaking, he studies the room first. Who disagrees with who? Who has status? Who might feel challenged? Who gets offended easily? So he edits himself in real time, not because he lacks intelligence, because he fears social consequences. And over time, that fear slowly changes the way people see him. Not incompetent, just emotionally negotiable. That is the part nobody teaches you about approval. It does not simply make you anxious. It changes your social weight. People begin sensing that your boundaries move depending on who is in front of you. And once that happens, respect becomes unstable, because human beings trust emotional consistency more than charm. A person who calmly disagrees feels safer than someone constantly trying to be liked. Even silence feels different between the two. One silence feels grounded. The other feels careful. This is why some people speak very little, yet their presence affects the entire room. There is no performance inside them, no invisible request for validation, no emotional reaching, and strangely, people relax around them because of it. Approval seeking creates tension most people cannot explain. You see it in friendships too. The friend who never says no, the one who over-accommodates, the one who keeps giving emotional energy long after reciprocity disappeared. At first, people call them kind. Then eventually, they stop respecting the effort entirely, not always intentionally. But human psychology adapts quickly to emotional availability that has no boundaries. When someone proves they will tolerate disrespect to avoid conflict, others slowly stop, fearing the loss of them. That changes everything. The conversations, the tone, the invitations, the honesty, because respect is deeply connected to perceived self-respect. And self-respect is rarely loud. It is usually visible in very small moments. The ability to let silence exist without rushing to fill it. The ability to disappoint someone without collapsing internally. The ability to say less during manipulation. To stop over-explaining your decisions to people who were never seeking understanding in the first place. Emotionally mature people understand something painful very early. Being liked and being respected are often negotiated through opposite behaviors. The person desperate to be liked becomes emotionally adjustable. The person comfortable being misunderstood becomes emotionally stable. And stability has gravity, especially in adulthood, especially after people experience enough fake politeness, hidden competition, social performance, and conditional friendships. At some point, adults stop admiring charisma. They start admiring emotional certainty, not arrogance, not dominance, just internal steadiness, a calm refusal, a quiet boundary, a person who does not reshape themselves every 5 minutes to maintain acceptance. That kind of presence feels rare now, because modern life quietly trains people to perform constantly. Social media rewards approval addiction. Corporate environments reward political self-monitoring. Even friendships sometimes become subtle reputation management systems. People become emotionally exhausted, trying to remain acceptable to everyone, and the exhaustion becomes visible. You can hear it in the way people apologize for things that require no apology. You can feel it in conversations where nobody speaks honestly until the safe person leaves the room. You can see it in competent adults who secretly feel terrified of disappointing people they do not even respect. Approval becomes survival, and survival slowly destroys authenticity. The strange part is, respect usually begins returning the moment a person becomes willing to lose it, not through aggression, not through rebellion, but through emotional detachment from constant validation. The moment someone stops managing every reaction around them, their behavior changes naturally. Their words become cleaner. Their boundaries become calmer. Their presence stops asking for permission. And people feel it immediately. Because emotionally, nothing commands more respect than someone who remains psychologically intact after disapproval. Most adults are not used to that. They are used to people folding, explaining, appeasing, performing emotional diplomacy to avoid tension. So when someone stays calm without seeking approval, it disrupts the social script. Not loudly, quietly. And quiet shifts are often the most powerful ones, because real confidence is rarely expressive. It is usually the absence of emotional chasing, the absence of unnecessary self-defense, the absence of trying to control how every person perceives you. There is a certain loneliness that comes with this. Some relationships weaken when you stop overgiving. Some coworkers become colder when you stop over-explaining. Some people only felt comfortable with the version of you that needed acceptance. That realization hurts, but it also clarifies everything, because the relationships built entirely on your emotional compliance were never stable to begin with. They were conditional arrangements disguised as connection. And become too tired to keep performing for conditional acceptance, so they become quieter, more direct, more selective. Not because they hate people, because they finally understand the psychological cost of abandoning themselves repeatedly for temporary approval. And strangely, that is often when respect finally becomes real, not forced, not requested, not chased, just quietly recognized.